Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show where we focus on helping home services companies grow better, faster, and stronger. I'm your host, Jeff Lambert. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of the almighty customer review for your company. Now, we know that those negative reviews, you get one and it just sticks in the back of your head. It stays with you no matter where you go. When you get home at night and you put your head on the pillow, it's still bugging you, just sitting there. What do I do? How do I respond? And your first instinct might be I need to react. I need to defend my company from this person who's slandering my name. And that certainly could be one route that you could take. But then there's other individuals who decide, you know what, I'm just going to ignore the negative review and I'm not going to do anything about it. Both those are not necessarily the right way to handle negative reviews, but you think about them constantly. The ones you probably don't think as much about are the positive reviews. They may pop up and you may read them and get a warm spot in your heart for the fact that someone took the time to leave it, but then it's moving on because the positive reviews don't stick in your head the same way as the negative ones. Well, luckily for you today, I want to show you how to increase the amount of positive reviews that you get for your home services business because they make a huge difference in your ability to be able to scale. And so, how do you do that? How do you get more people to leave happy reviews for you? Because, like I said, we focus on the negative ones, but the positive ones matter too. So, we're going to key in on five specific tips that you can implement immediately to see the amount of positive reviews that you get on a weekly basis increase exponentially. So to do that, I'm going to bring in a little slide deck that I made for you, and I'm going to stay with you right here in the corner of the screen. Hello. So you can see my face as we talk, but there are specific things I want to show you. So we're going to go through this way with my face right with you, and these graphics we're going to overlay as we walk through everything. So, as I stated, we're going to talk about five tips to help you improve the amount of customer reviews that you get. We're going to go through six sections in this. If you're planning out your morning, you think you may not have time, remember you can obviously follow our channel, our YouTube channel, to be able to see a recording of this if you can't stay for the whole thing. But if you can stick with us for the next 20 to 25 minutes, we're going to be talking about six things. Number one, we're going to start with, does it matter if you have a lot of positive customer reviews? We're going to talk about the data that is behind that, whether it's worth your time. And then we're going to jump into five specific tips that you can use immediately, that you can set up very quickly and very easily on your own to be able to see an increase in those happy people sharing their experience with the world. So let's go ahead and jump into our first section. We're going to talk specifically about, do great reviews lead to more sales? Well, the answer is yes, or else we'd be cutting this live broadcast really short. But yes, the answer is yes, yes, resoundingly yes. Positive reviews matter. Why do they matter? You have to think about the customer now in 2021 and for the past decade, honestly. When it comes down to it, especially for people who need home services companies, when something breaks or something goes wrong or they decide to upgrade, they usually don't have a company in mind for who to go with. And so they start the process by looking online. And it can be kind of a commercial approach or it can be an informative approach. There are some people who say, you know what, I need a new roof. I need to start looking for a roofing company. But there may be people who say, well, my window's leaking a little bit. Why is it leaking? And then they start looking online. Why is my window leaking? And they're going to start trying to find answers. And companies are going to start popping up in search results that offer education advice to show them the answer to that question. So it's important to make sure that you're also addressing that as well. Topic for another course. Again, make sure you subscribe and follow, and we can talk about a content plan to be able to reach those people too. But the point is that people don't know who they're going with most of the time, and stats support this. 74% of people who need HVAC repairs don't have a company in mind when something happens. 90% of people who need electrical work don't have a company in mind. 80% of customers looking for a roofer don't know who they're going to go with when something happens and they start looking for a company. And those people begin by using search engines. And 90% of individuals who start their search online for that company say that they look at review sites, that they're influenced by reviews. And so you have to be active and present on review sites in order to get in front of them, to have a shot at the sale. But more importantly, we know that people don't just look at review sites, they go with companies that have positive reviews. 57% of customers say that they only go with companies that have positive customer reviews, on average, stars or higher. So you have to think about your company. Are you in that range? Do you have a lot of customer reviews? Do you have a lot of positive customer reviews? What's your average rating? If you can get better in any of those areas, this video is for you 100%. So we've established that positive reviews matter, that people rely on them to choose companies, and that you need to have an active and positive presence online when it comes to your company's feedback from customers and the larger world. So, how can you get those? It's not as difficult as you think. It just takes a little bit more of a complex strategy to get there. So, for tip number one, we're going to talk about something that seems obvious, but there's a way to do it. The first way that you can get more positive reviews for your company is to focus on contacting happy customers. What we see a lot when working with home services clients, initially, the process to get feedback is usually an email when a project's done, and it's very, very simple. It'll say, "Hey, thanks for going with our company for your issue. Make sure to leave us a review on Google, Yelp, Home Advisor, Angie, whatever it is." And that's it. It's just as simple as that. But there's a better way to go about this, because when you send out those blanket emails, you may feel like you checked the box for communicating with the customer, but what you might have done is opened up a little Pandora's box on yourself, because you don't know who's getting that email and you don't know how they feel about your company. And so you could be inviting people to leave you a bad review, and that's bad. So, the rule of thumb here is we want to focus on getting feedback from the happy customers and engage them in the process instead of taking I almost said a shotgun approach, and I guess that would be appropriate to take kind of a one size fits all approach to getting reviews back. So, screen your customers before you ask them to leave you a review. And you might be asking, well, how do you do that? That seems like a lot more work. With technology where it is now, it's really not hard at all by just using automated email system setups. And let me show you what that looks like. If I've already scared you off, stay with me like 5 seconds here because I want to explain what I mean by automation. By using any sort of simple email setup or even having someone in the office send these out manually, the goal here is to send an initial email communication to your client when a job is done. And it should look like something on a scale of 1 to 10. Hey, thanks for going with our company. On a scale of 1 to 10, tell us how we did. You're going to get feedback from that most of the time. People like to be heard, especially if they're either really happy or really unhappy. So the difference is the feedback's coming back to you. It's not going publicly. So that email is going to ask them to click on a scale of 1 to 10. How'd you feel? If they're in the 0 through 6 range, you don't want them leaving a review. Even if they're in the 7 to 8 range, usually pick a 7 or an 8. People pick on that range because they have a reservation or something went mildly incorrect with their experience. You can use anybody that gives you a 0 to an 8 for internal improvement by telling your staff, this is the feedback we got, this is where we need to improve. But you don't need the general public to know all of that. And so the people that you want to invite to leave reviews on your public profiles are the people that give you a 9 or a 10. So just by sending out that email asking them for feedback to you directly, you're automatically screening out people taking another step and going publicly online. So use the information for you first and then focus on the 9s and the 10s. And then you reach out to them after this initial email. Let me show you what this looks like just in real life. This is an automated email that we set up for one of our clients who is an Impact Windows installer. Whenever there's a project that's done and is marked complete in their system, there's an automated email that goes to the person on file and it asks them, hey, how likely is it that you would recommend company name and to a friend or a colleague? So you see, they get a simple 1 to 10 scale. If they click on it, the information goes back to you, and then that person has given their feedback. Hopefully that's enough for them because they've been able to share their thoughts. But now you have a treasure trove of data. If they score you 0 to 8, you can use that feedback internally. If they gave you a 9 or 10, the system can trigger another email to go out that now asks them, thank you for your feedback. Wow, we're glad that you had an amazing experience. Would you be willing to share that on our Google profile or on our Yelp profile or on our Home Advisor profile or on our Angie profile? You get the idea. So making sure that there's a second step where you're only focusing on the happy people. That makes a huge difference in engaging them and making it so they will share their positive experience. And everybody else, again, hopefully they are now out of the process. They shared their feedback, and you can work on that internally without it being live to everybody else. Something as simple as this: screen who you're asking to leave reviews. That is the moral of the story for tip number one. Let's go to tip number two, and this ties in directly to the success of tip number one. You have to make the feedback process simple for people that you're asking to leave a review. So again, you've set up a two-step process now. You're sending out an initial email asking on a scale of 1 to 10 how they liked it. And the nines and the tens, you're reaching back out to again and saying, man, we really want you to leave a review publicly for us. When you send out that second email to those individuals, make sure that that email makes it really simple for them to leave a review. And again, we've seen home services companies take a generalized approach to leaving reviews. Thank you. Please make sure to leave a review for us on Google or Yelp. You're making the customer work harder to do something for you, because now they have to close their email client. They have to open a web browser. They have to type something into Google, or they have to go to Angie and type something in and look for your company and click on it and make sure it's the right one and compare it to the invoice. It's all not necessary, because in that follow-up email that you send to the happy people, the nines and the tens, just leave a link, a direct link for them to be able to leave a review. It's a two-step process now, and it's frictionless. That's what makes it so excellent for them and increases the chance that they're going to leave a positive review for you. Something so simple that you can do. And this is what it would look like. Again, from one of our same clients, just to show you the process of their automated email setup. Simple email you'll see on your screen. To our newest customer, we loved working with you on your home. You can help a small business like ours stay competitive through reviews, feedback. Can you leave us a review here, please? With this company, they want their Google reviews to be super high, so they channel everything to Google. Depending on your company and your location, certain review sites might be better than others, but in this case, Google. So now, as you can see, the person that got this second email, they just have to click. That's it. And it takes them right to where they have to go to leave a review. It's a two-step process, super simple, and it's going to increase the likelihood that they leave you a review. So tip number two, make the feedback process simple, frictionless for your customer. Tip number three, make sure, if you're going through all this trouble to get people to leave more positive reviews, that you're actively showing them that you care that they left a review. And just in general, it's important to make sure that you respond to every user comment on the sites that you are active on. So look, when customers know that they're going to get a response back, they're more likely to post something on your profile. We know this, there's a direct correlation. So even if they're positive or negative, you want to make sure that you're actively responding to every comment. Okay. And responses lead to higher ratings too, because you're getting, even with the negative ones, a second opportunity to really address what the issue is at hand. There's a formula, and I'm going to invite you to a special mini workshop that we're doing on how to address negative reviews. But for now, again, we're focusing on the positive. You want to make sure you're responding to reviews. You want to affirm them for the experience that they had and for taking the time to leave a review. And we know this works when businesses, in a study that we found, responded to comments on a regular basis. It showed that they got a 12% overall increase in overall reviews. So it does work, and it is going to increase the amount of reviews that you get. And most of the time, especially if you're taking a proactive approach to handling reviews, they're going to be positive and you're going to see an uptick. So this means thinking about your internal process. How often is someone checking your review sites? Do you have reviews? Do you have profiles on 6 different review sites? Is that too much to handle for your office? Is it just you doing it? Maybe you need to just go back to one review site. Just be active on Google or just be active on Home Advisor and making it easier. But whoever it is, if it's you, if it's someone else, if you have 6 profiles on review sites, or if you have one, you have to be checking it at least once a week, if not every day, to make sure that you're actively responding to user feedback on these review sites. So make sure that that's happening, either by setting up someone in the office to be responsible for it, or making sure that you scale it to something that you can do, again, at least once a week, or even better, once a day, 30 minutes a day. You'd be surprised at the results you'll see, and they come quickly. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4, think about offering an incentive for people to leave feedback. People who score 9 and 10 usually don't need any more motivation to leave you a positive review because they had such a great experience. They want other people to know. But especially if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of reviews and you don't have a lot of customers, it may be a good idea to offer some sort of kickback for them taking the time to leave you a positive review. So think about, what can you offer the customer, whether they're in the 9 to 10 category or even if they're in the 7 to 10 category. And like I said, you need reviews. You're just starting out. Maybe it's a discount on future projects or services that you're offering. Maybe it's an initial discount on the project that's just closing. We'll knock off an additional 10% if you leave us a review. Whatever the method is, the road that you choose, it's so important that you think about possibly offering an incentive. This isn't for everybody. But again, if you need the positive reviews, this is a powerful tool that you can use. Just be careful. You don't want to set up a system that people can take advantage of. And what I mean by that, a lot of times, especially if you offer like a cashback kind of a deal, some people can try and abuse that system. And so just think about, is it working for you? Keep a close eye on your metrics. Make sure overall that the system is actually bringing in more positive reviews and you're not just shelling out more cash and increasing your expense line. So again, let me show you in the real world how this could work. We're going back to the same company we've been using. This is the final part of their automated email process. They have that email, the second one that went out after they narrowed it down to the 9s and the 10s, asking for them to leave a review. And if you notice at the end, there's a paragraph that says you can also refer friends and family. They're setting up future business and they're saying we'll give you $500 if they become a customer. So if they refer someone, and then that person comes back and becomes a customer, they're getting a kickback for a referral. You can use that same strategy to get people to leave a review as well. So think about that. An incentive structure is not a bad thing. You just have to see if it fits your needs, but it's certainly a tool in your tool belt that you can use. And that brings us to our final tip on how to increase positive reviews for your home services company. That comes down to keeping your review feeds recent. We can't stress this enough. It's so important. You want to make sure that the last review in your feed, the last most recent one, isn't older than 60 days. You want to make sure that there's constantly new people leaving reviews on your site. Why is that? Study showed that 58% of consumers said recent reviews carried as much importance as overall star rating. If your review sites are stale, if no one has left a review in 3 or 6 months, that signals one of two things to customers. Number one, that you're not getting new business, or number two, that you may be out of business because there's no action, there's no activity happening with your company. So it's important to try and build this pipeline that we've been talking about and making sure that you have that continuous cycle of people leaving you reviews. So great reviews are great, but reviews overall are important. And you can do that going back to step 3, just by responding to every review. You're automatically going to see an uptick in the amount of feedback that you get. And following our other 4 steps are going to guarantee that the majority of the feedback that you get is going to be positive. And that's the goal, folks, to make sure that people are preaching the word about how you are the best option in your area for the service that the customer or the consumer needs. Can't be overstated. So I hope this was helpful for you, ladies and gentlemen. These are 5 tips that we have tried. They're tested. They work. They are working for our clients in the home services industry. And you can roll these out just by thinking about a simple strategy change, adding a couple emails here and there, and just changing your overall approach to how you move forward with the customer reviews. It's so important. Now, we've talked about positive customer reviews and how you can increase those, but I alluded to it in the beginning. What do you do about negative reviews? Do you respond? Is it good to get fiery and defensive if someone's spreading slander about your company? Is it better to just ignore it? There's a way to go about this. And for the month of November, we're offering a special mini workshop that specifically covers a secret formula, our secret sauce, for being able to effectively respond to bad reviews. It's a simple acronym system. We give you all the tools you need to be able to roll it out in your company right away, to be able to see the best way to respond to negative reviews. And this isn't something that you can only use after taking it. Like I said, this is something you could easily give to someone else in the office and say, when you respond to reviews, if it's negative, follow this system. And you will see an immediate increase in not only the negative reviews that you can turn into positive reviews, but those negative reviews that have less impact on your overall business, because people want to see certain kinds of responses to negative reviews. You just have to know what to say. So I would invite you, please join us for this month's workshop, and it's free. All you have to do is go to the link and sign up and give us your email. We'll send you the link to be able to join us for this workshop. If you are interested, it's on November 30th at 10 o'clock a.m. You can tune in on YouTube or Facebook, or just go ahead and click the link below and we'll send that to you on demand as well. So if you join us for the live show, we'll be answering questions inside the studio. So if you want to ask us something as we go through, you're welcome to join us. If you can't make it live, again, just go ahead, click the link, go into the description, sign up, and you'll be able to join us in a pre-recorded manner as well. Folks, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm excited to see what happens with your company and your growth by focusing on building more positive customer reviews.